Hello, everybody, and thank you so much for joining me for another episode of Interviews with Entrepreneurs in South Africa. Today, I'm super excited to be introducing you to my friend Julie Dakers, who is a published author. Julie, please will you tell us a little bit more about your books and how they came into being?
Okay. In 2018, I decided to finally leave the corporate world. For a number of reasons, but thought it was well time I did something on my own. And having preached to the choir for, I believe, over a decade and helping entrepreneurs and coaching and facilitation and traveling really around South Africa, I decided I better actually put that into practice and see what it was like, because it's very easy to preach from behind the pulpit, so to speak, than to do it yourself. And that was always, I think, a question many entrepreneurs kind of pitched to me, saying, you know, it's so easy for you to stand up there and facilitate your courses to us, but what have you done? So I just took a leap of faith and dived in, not having a clue what was waiting for me. And in fact, a lot of the students and entrepreneurs I had engaged with and coached actually became my mentors in the process, because I really didn't know. I mean, I had, if I say I had all the head knowledge, I knew exactly where to go, what to do, tick the boxes, but there was such a disconnect between head and heart. And I think I needed to connect back to the heart. So I thought, well, and also then I realized I needed an income, because it's great to, I was silly, I just resigned, I just had enough. But there was no backup plan. I knew I'm intelligent. I knew I could get another job, but I didn't really push for that. So it wasn't a fear thing. I just thought, well, okay, what's in my hands? And I realized I'd been traveling through every disadvantaged community out there, teaching adults, helping people, setting up entrepreneurial centers. And I thought, you know, I've got all these stories. What do I do with it? I'm not an author. I didn't think I was an author. I didn't even think I had any books on me. And then I thought, well, what do I have to lose? So I kind of jotted down some ideas. And someone said to me, you need to go to Scoops in Monte Cassino and speak to Deborah Deploy, who I had set up a meeting. Anyway, she was the most wonderful angel that crossed my path. And I said, I don't have a clue. I know nothing about publishing, being an author, being a writer. I can develop content for entrepreneurial courses, but I said, my passion is literacy and entrepreneurship. What can I do? And I just shared my heart with her. And she sat and gave me 2.5 hours. So, I mean, really an angel. And she said, go for it. Just get your ideas there. And that kind of was how it all started. So I had a character, and I also actually felt God just laid it on my heart. Like, you know, go out there and teach these kids. We teach the adults, but who's helping in the foundation phase? And children have always been a strong passion for me. And if you look at literacy rates and comprehension for meaning, about 75% of kids can't even read, comprehend, or, you know, so I just thought that this is it. I need to do something. So I came up with an idea, and Moses was born. Here's a little, I don't know if you can see, there's little Moses.
That's wonderful.
And, I still need to get them up on I'll just show you a couple pictures. I don't know how well you can see all
Those
that.
are wonderful.
It's very authentic to life in the communities. I hid a little mouse because I was tutoring a little boy who changed my life, and his name was Musa. So Musa Mouse was developed, and he's hidden in the pages, a bit like the Wally books, but nothing to do with Wally. Kids like to explore and learn. I took the images and developed, I was hoping to do teaching aids. So a lot of the black and white graphics, again, grade 1, grade 2, you know, color in the red tablecloth. So it can be used for all kinds of things. And the whole thing also came, I wanted to use, this is where you come in, girl, my mom made little bags. It's a social enterprise. I wanted to use shwe shwe fabric because I absolutely love all things shwe shwe. And I wanted to create a little social enterprise and like a business in a bag model. And teach the various skills of entrepreneurship in a children's way. What would be understandable for them? You know, exploring the ideas of business. I hope to also develop, and there's ideas, and I've kind of been fiddling around with it, and a board game, but different. There's so many board games out there. It really is something to be different, different to what is currently out there. I'm trying to find ways to encourage self-esteem, self-confidence, because obviously how do we create negotiation skills or be better negotiators when we don't have the basic elements in place? There's a financial literacy course, because in the story, it's part of it is about the stokvel and how to do savings and budget. So very grassroots, elementary for now, foundation phase, and then to build on that in time with life lessons of entrepreneurship and combining it where it simplifies matters for a child. Look how many entrepreneurs we have on the streets who have their lemonade stands, their fruit and veg. Can we formalize those informal businesses? How do we help them? And how do we, put a bit of structure and process in place? So that was kind of the start and the idea. And with that, it was also a way to introduce some ethics, some morals, some good values, just a simple way of life, righteous living. Book 3, which I am very excited about, is halfway through. I'm waiting for the last 5 images to be finalized, and then that will then get published. That is a book on tolerance and love. It's about 2 little dogs, one called Skabenga, one called Samusa, and about, you know, a little black boy meets a little Indian boy, and their dogs are best friends, and how we all can learn to not only tolerate one another, but with a bit of love and kindness, we can be the best of friends.
I love that. So
story of love. So each one has a little element to focus on. And the first book, Woza, It's Kasi Time, is really welcome to the Kasi. This is my little village, and come and meet the people. And it's an introduction, a storyline taking you through the village to meet the people. The second one is Milies for Mo. And again, I've incorporated the Afrikaans spelling of the word Milies because I want this to be a book or a series of books that is there for all children. Unity is power. This is created to include everyone. There's no, yes, maybe it's in the Kasi, so you don't identify with that. No, I want expats who are living overseas to go page through the books and read a story to their children and see this is life in rural Africa. You know, whether you live in Ethiopia or you live in Johannesburg or in Soweto, where are you? It doesn't matter. Anyone can identify with the stories and the pictures. And I have the greatest illustrator and book designer. I mean, Greg Davies has been incredible. I was introduced to him, and he's helped me with the book design. And then Rian, just finding his surname, Marais, yes, I got it right. He has illustrated and authentically, because every time they did an image for me, I'd be like, no, you don't understand. I don't that's not what the image is about. So they're very realistic stories.
Mm.
And every book has a message and hopefully teaches someone something. As a little girl, I lined up my teddy bears. I think I was always an innate teacher at heart and wanted to share and give back. And this is part of the giving back. I hope to have 7 books in the series. Yeah, so I need to write book 4, and I've already written book 5 and 6. And then, of course, the last book is the big celebration, where it all comes together. So happy folk tales in and around South Africa, and little stories from childhood to people who have met. So in book 3, I had a lovely lady in our community who used to make chili bites and samosas. So in the story, I've incorporated her in the stories. So it really, yeah, has been a great learning, because, like I said, I didn't know I had any books in me, and I didn't even know how to write. And yet somehow the stories have unfolded.
It's so amazing. So for people watching, just to give you some context, I met Julie Dakers at a business incubator, and she was one of my my teachers and mentors there. Now, I find it quite interesting, Julie, that you say that it was a very different experience training people and actually going out there and being an entrepreneur. What were the biggest shocks to your system? Because, I mean, you must have thought you had all the information.
Yes, very much all the head knowledge. First of all, a couple of things. If you're going to write a book, think long and hard. You're not going to be a millionaire and create, amass a huge wealth from writing stories. That's not going to happen. Let's put that out there. So make sure you're dedicated and committed to see the projects through. I remember teaching students who would come and say, but people just want to take my art, and they didn't value how to price, themselves. So that's been tricky for me. How do you price yourselves? Yes, I need to put the books on Amazon. I haven't yet. I haven't had the time, but it will go up there. And then that market's global market, South African market, tricky. Pricing is hard. Secondly, I found like a lot of people just want something from you for free. And I know you and I have had a lot of conversations around this, and a lot of your community and your networks being artists, struggling artists. I never envisioned myself as that person until I went out there. I hit some rocky times, December 2018. And I thought, good grief, everyone just wants me to leave my books behind.
Yes.
Let me tell you,
yes,
that one little book was 15,000 Rand. So to just plonk that down initially, I was like, how do I ever recoup that? No, it was never about recouping. It's the bigger message of helping the kids. And I realize that now, getting that out there. But it hurt. And I was sad. And I thought, people want to take, but what are they willing to give? So what happened to that law of reciprocity? Where is that? Are we all just takers? Who respects the art? Who respects the craft? Who knows about the blood, sweat, and tears behind the glossy, beautiful print? I think those are some really hard lessons that were necessary. Now I can really appreciate, and I wish I was coaching now. I think I'd be so much more valuable.
Well, you are. You are. I'm sure that everybody watching is learning from this.
Walk the walk. Walk it. Walk the walk.
Yeah.
Get out there and don't be afraid, because it's also, again, so easy to say, you're going to get rejections and grow the tough skin, because you really are. I mean, my goodness, so many no's, and then suddenly a wonderful yes. I mean, someone contacted me and wanted me to do frontline charity concerts to help the doctors, the nurses, you know, the healthcare system. And I read my story for maybe someone who just needed a break and needed to hear a little story, or a child watching. That was a great experience. So I also find if I'm pushing too hard, take a step back. Maybe it's not meant to be, and try something else. And especially in these times, oh my goodness, I think we've all felt it. Keep an open mind and be flexible. You're going to have yucky days, bad days. Could use some choice words. Yeah, we'll be polite. Just keep going. There's only one way. You just have to keep going and keep pushing. And one door closes, it just means you're closer to the next door that's opening.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Turn around, shake off your tail feathers, and find a different way to waddle. I don't know.
I love it. I love it. So what I really love is about your books is that you've almost decided to go to the root of the challenge. You know, you spent a lot of time working with adults who were ill-equipped, and now you're taking the information to the kids so that when they get to adulthood, they have those tools in their toolboxes already, which I think is an amazing gift to the world. And I think it shows a great deal of foresight on your part, because you're actually sowing the seeds of future entrepreneurs, which is something that I think our country needs very, very desperately. With high unemployment rates and little hope of creating employment for that many people, the only logical answer is self-employed.
Yes, absolutely. And I also looked at various curriculums, obviously, before going into this. It's so ill-equipped. I mean, a lot of schools, again, possibly great facilitators, teachers, who maybe haven't walked the walk and then are teaching a subject like, you know, entrepreneurship, but is it all head knowledge, kind of where I was. So it's to be able to holistically learn that. And I mean, we can all put up a lemonade stand. What are we doing past the lemonade stand? And can we get a little bit creative? You know, don't go home and bake the muffins for the cake sale. There's so much more. What else are we doing? So this, again, was a big reason why I wanted to start something and facilitate workshops, you know, do one-on-one sessions, whatever that looks like. Like I say, I'm open to any of it, all of it. I really wanted to just, and I still envision that, get in a room and kind of lock myself in with 20 kids and say, right, what are we doing? And have some fun. Have some fun again. We've forgotten the art of having fun. Let's blow off some steam and let's create some products. What do we need? And highly intelligent beings there. I mean, you can learn so much from a child. You know, they'll tell you right away whether what you've created is rubbish or okay. You know, just spend some time, and you can learn so much. Yeah, we dismiss because we think they're young, they're simple. What do they know? But I really wanted this focus to go back to the youth, to go back to the youngsters, whether that means you're 2 years old, 3 years old, 16, doesn't matter.
So what sort of age group are your books for?
So initially I thought age 4 to 8. And then I saw a 12-year-old laughing hysterically, really enjoying the book. So then I was like, you know, who am I to limit it? If anybody wants to read the book, pick up the book and read it. The little ones like to obviously page through and find the mouse and, see what's there and encourage the reading. That was the aim. Get them to start falling in love with books again, because we all have our tablets and, smartphones or whatever we have, but what kind of local, relevant, great content do we have? In a lot of schools, books are imported from the UK or other places. Why can't we have relevant African stories written for Africans, by an African? So I wanted to make it relevant. Of course, some of the words I've put in Zulu because I would want some English children to learn the Zulu words. When I took it to a school, this is just some of the feedback was, these will never work because you're blending languages and that's not how we do things. So I said, that's fine. It might not be the market for here. But how many kids are actually going home reading a book? And clearly not many in that school. So storytelling, going out into the communities, reading the stories. Yeah.
I actually think that that's a great thing to blend languages. It's almost a unique selling point in your books. And I mean, people do blend languages quite a lot in daily speaking. Why shouldn't that spill over into the books also?
Yeah. And in the settlement camp, because we have so many, and possibly those communities are growing. What kind of resources do they have? How many can read or have the luxury of reading to their child? So if anybody is watching and is able to donate to a cause like that, that's something dear to my heart. The other, you mentioned the unique selling point. The book, the font is written in a dyslexia font. So I didn't want to leave, again, anyone out. Dyslexia font is specifically created to make reading easier for dyslexic people.
Okay.
Created by a man called Christian Boer. I'll just hold it up again. I don't know if you can see that in some of the letters, it's quite bold.
Yes.
And would very easily distinguish between like the B and the D, because maybe the bottom of the B is thicker than, the way it goes around. So the letters are easier to see, which helps reading, especially with children who might have learning disabilities or challenges.
So your books are actually very mindfully made, Julie.
Yes, ma'am.
It's pretty impressive.
Thank you, my friend.
So have you had any feedback from actual children who've read the books?
Yes, lots of feedback, lots of laughter, lots of children love the stories. The adults I've shown it to have loved the authentic pictures. And I'm talking about years and years of decades of going into communities and going to buy a lollipop from a spaza shop. I want the spaza shop in the book to look exactly like the shop I just walked in to buy the lollipop. So I've made it very authentic. So they've loved the pictures. The graphics really sell the book. But really the ultimate message is for a child to read. I want children to read and to fall in love with reading again. Any child, anywhere.
I love that. I love that. So when the 7 books are done, what next?
Oh, that's the big question. I don't know. I really would like to develop, whether it be apps or different learning aids. I'm getting quite into the field of play therapy, behavioral therapies for children. And I'm toying with an idea of maybe some self-help books. Again, I'm quite interested in this age 4 to 8. We see a lot of challenges, and in the past, definitely 15 months, it's been highlighted quite significantly. What's happening and what kind of issues children are experiencing. And then even the 11 to 13, a lot of self-esteem, confidence. What are the messages we're telling them? What's out there on social media? Because some people, obviously those things are not limited. They have free access. Anyone with an internet can look at anything. Yeah, I'm toying with an idea of some self-help tools.
Okay.
Yeah.
You are certainly a very, very convincing teacher. As somebody who was your student for some years, I always loved your workshops, and I learned a great deal from you.
Thank you, ma'am.
So I'm very, very proud now to see you going out and using all that head learning that you had and applying it to your own life. It's very impressive and very brave to have made the leap and stepped into my world.
Well, I think also when you meet, you were always a highlight for me. You were everything color, and every time I think of color, you're the first thought that pops in my mind. As much as the teacher teaches, the teacher learns from her students. So for me, the people I spend time with in the room were always my greatest inspiration. So yeah, anyone can teach, but how do they listen? And what do they learn? So I think for a great teacher, if you have the ability to learn from others, to always stand you in good stead. So I think, trying to put into practice what I learned from others.
That's such a great message. Thank you. Now, if anybody is interested in buying your books, where can they find them?
So for now, obviously, I'm just selling via, people can contact me. I think the easiest, I do have a page on Facebook called the Shosholoza. The series is the Shosholoza Series, because it just reminds me of my dad, and he always used to do a little jig whenever he used to say that word. So that's kind of how that came about. And it's really Julie Dakers Impacts at gmail.com. Otherwise, find me on Facebook or LinkedIn. I'm out there, but I am looking to, once the third book is published, then at least I'm going to put them on Amazon, and then obviously all the online book retail stores will have it. Being an indie author, yes, we need to get out on all the platforms.
And are you going to do print on demand on Amazon?
Well, that's what I'm trying to look at now, like which I think that's probably the best way for now. I've done both. Having, the first time as an author, you're so excited to see your book in print, so you rush off and print hundreds of books, and then they sit in your living room and, gather a bit of dust. So no, you need to get them out there. So the print on demand, I think, is better for me. I'd even like to get some audiobooks. If I could find some great voices out there. And, I look at like TV. TV's not very inspiring to me. Well, it never really has been. But what are kids watching? Turn a book into some kind of comic relief, or some kind of show, some kind of media. I'm need to think about these things, because that too would be a great possibility and showcase.
I think likely the messages in the books are really, really valuable, and I certainly think they'd make a powerful TV show.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's really also, because then you obviously can reach a greater audience. But,
yes.
If it starts as an audio book and people can page through, I need to research these things. It's new to me, this field.
Yes. I love that you're just launching into a field that you're not sure about and you're just doing it. I love it. I
I
love
don't
it.
have a clue, so I'll probably make 100 of mistakes, but then we can always have a workshop and teach others what not to do.
I love that. I love that. So, do
Yeah.
you have any parting comments for entrepreneurs watching this show? Anybody thinking of leaving their corporate job and going out on their own?
Um, just do it. You know, yes, I'd say I was irresponsible. Maybe I didn't save up enough, but at this stage in life, I'm 47. What are we waiting for? Are you going to wait another 50 years before you launch out? The way things are going, do you actually know whether you will have a salary in 6 months' time?
Mm.
If you have something that you're really passionate about and feel really called to do and have a purpose and feel that that is your purpose for being, then just launch out. So you make a mistake. What's the worst you can do? You fail miserably, you learn from that, and you can go try find another job. I mean,
Mm.
just do it.
I love that.
Just do it.
I love
Yeah.
that. Thank you so much for your time to talk to me today. And please know that I'm very, very proud of you. I think your books are an absolute stroke of genius. I love that you've gone to the root cause of the challenges, which is working with young people instead of trying to put a plaster on adults who who are already ill-equipped. I think that working with young people is really an amazing, amazing solution for some of the economic challenges that our country faces. So I really admire you for doing that.
Thank you, Mel, and thank you always for your love and support.
It's a pleasure.
Appreciate it. Take care.